Hey, how's it going? Brian here, and I've got a quick question for you. So, what percent of your total sales in your e-commerce business are coming from email? Email alone. What percent of your total sales each month are coming only from email? If you either don't know the answer to that or you don't even know what's a good number to aim for, then what I'm going to talk to you about today is going to help you tremendously because uh, if you've been selling, online, if you've been an e-commerce seller for more than 6 months, you know the importance of email. You've heard it, you know it's true. Yet it's shocking, right? How many times, and I've come across this over the years. I meet sellers that have been doing online retail for 2, 3, 4, 5 years, and still they know their email marketing strategy is weak. It needs work, and I can tell you the one common denominator with all brands that are crushing it online, e-commerce sellers, it's a strong email marketing strategy. So, I want to talk about that today. I want to talk about some things you can implement right away. These are things you have to have in place. I'm going to give you that percentage that you should be aiming for of total monthly sales from email, and then I'm also going to talk about the platform that we recommend. It's what I mean. We've tested basically all of them, either directly ourselves, through our clients, through our students, and there is one platform that just comes out head and shoulders above the rest. There's just no question, and I'll explain why and give you some resources for that. So the first thing is, you know, just recognizing the importance of email. And again, you probably know this, right? You probably know you need to be doing more in your email marketing strategy. And right now, as things are in a little bit of a transition period with ads, right, with iOS 14 changes and things like that, um, more and more brands are finding that as they're navigating the transition, the list that they own, their owned media, right? Their emails, their text, their phone numbers that they have, physical addresses, those things are what's helping sort of maintain some stability as they transition and figure out this paid ad side that's changing right now. So it just further like accentuates, right? It further emphasizes the importance of owning your list. And that's part one, right? Own the list. And then what do you actually do with it? You have to actually monetize the list and have a strategy to do it over and over and over again, not just the one-off email. Because if not, that list will die and it won't work for you anymore and it won't do what it's supposed to do. So um, the main thing you have to do as a brand online is you got to get people to spend, right? You got to get them to spend more when they spend, and you have to get them to spend more often. Now, the beauty of email is it does all three of those, and it does two of them probably better than one of these. So it absolutely will get people to spend. If you look at all the different ways that we try to generate revenue, ads is obviously a huge part of it. We use ads primarily to bring the customer in. Okay, so it's a vehicle to acquire customers. We take our best sellers, we create like this, just the best offer, the best pricing, the best profitability, and the best thing we can come up with. We use that as our vehicle, as our magnet to bring customers in. And it's not so much about profitability as it is about getting the customers into our sphere of influence. Then email and text and direct mail, those things on the back end are where we increase how much those customers spend, right? Because we bring them in as customers, we get them to spend more. But getting customers, converting them initially to customers, email is a huge part of that because in the process of running those ads, we collect a lot of email through cart abandons, through email opt-ins, right? Through newsletter opt-ins, coupon opt-ins. And now they're a part of our list. So now we have to work that list. So email gets you to convert that first buyer. So it gets you to take them from a subscriber and a non-buyer to now a buyer and your best prospect that you can work, with further emails. So you can get people to spend, which is the first part. Getting them to spend more, that's a little bit tougher to influence through email. One of the ways to do it is by creating bundles, right? Creating uh, offers that they normally wouldn't buy, but because it's in an email, whether it's bulk, whether it's unique offers that aren't available anywhere else, whether it's one-off promotions that you run that are limited edition, things like that. A lot of ways to do it, but it's a little bit tougher to influence. We have other strategies that we use in our stores to get the average order value up, which is getting people to spend more when they buy. But you can do it through email. The third, which is getting people to spend more often. So get them to spend more when they spend, and get them to spend more often. That third piece is basically all email. We rarely use ads for remarketing, which is, running ads to existing buyers. We do it, but they don't convert nearly as well, and we're still having to pay that ad cost. Why do that if we can just email? We can use email marketing and text and direct mail, um, over and over and over again, and really just pay like a small base fee and be able to continually drive those sales. So email is critical to converting those buyers from non-buyers to buyer. So that first sale, it can be useful for getting people to spend more by the offers that we put out in the emails we send. Um, but certainly, there's no question monetizing the list, which is really where the profit is, by the way. Acquiring the customer, not much profit. If you can acquire customers at a profit, that's the holy grail, right? Like that's the thing. Um, if you could buy dollars for 90 cents, you're going to buy as many dollars as you possibly can. It's very rare. Any business, out on the street that has to, offer a free something to get people in, they're losing on the acquisition, but they know they're going to make it up on the back end. If you can acquire the customer at break even and then use email on the back end, that's where your profitability is, because you can basically send unlimited emails, within reason, right? But you can keep sending those to convert them to a buyer, and once they buy, to get them to come back over and over and over and over again. So always focus on that in your business. Convert that first buyer, get them to spend more when they are buying, and get them to spend more often. And email does all three of those. So some of the biggest mistakes that we see when we sort of audit email accounts and strategies, I would say the two biggest things are the frequency of email. Frequency is always too low, always too low. If you follow any brand that is, you know, looks like they have a decent decent performance in their brand, like they seem like they're doing decently well, forget like the category kings that are absolutely crushing it. Just follow some brands that look like they have their stuff together, get on their email list, which, by the way, if you're not doing that for your direct competitors and indirect competitors, I like do that now, like literally today, get on their list, maybe even consider buying something from your direct competitor. Let's see what they're doing. Let's see what's happening under the surface of the water, right? Like the mass of the iceberg. But what you'll find consistently with brands that are crushing it is they email all the time. I'm talking 3, 4, 5 times a week, and they do it over and over and over and over again. They don't care if people unsubscribe. If they unsubscribe, that means they weren't going to buy anyway, so that's okay. Cleans out their list for them. So frequency is always too low, and the nature of the emails. So there just isn't a good strategy. So a couple things to keep in mind when you're building out your email marketing strategy. One, make sure that you've set up your autoresponders, or what can also be called flows, and your campaigns, which are your broadcasts. So you need both of those. So autoresponders, those are the things that you set up. It's kind of like set it and forget it. The one autoresponder you absolutely have to have set up, or the one flow, is your cart abandonment. Okay. That is low hanging fruit. I mean, that is the easiest money you're going to make in your business, is targeting people systematically, right? Strategically following up with people who showed an interest in your product and were this close to crossing the finish line. Do not let them like stop at the 5 yard line. You have to follow up with them to push them over the edge. Because here's the reality: 73% of buyers of online retail shoppers will abandon cart. And of that 73%, 75% want to finish purchase. So you're doing them a favor by following up. And if you're only sending one email and you're sending it 4 hours after they abandon cart, which is the standard that that's like the checkbox you put in Shopify. Yeah, you're going to make some sales. You are leaving money on the table, I assure you. We've seen it over and over again. We've split test that strategy with our email flow, and there's no question ours beats it every time. So uh, you need to be doing more than just that with your cart abandon. Other autoresponders, your nurture sequence, there's a ton of other follow-up sequences, browse abandonment sequences that you can set up, and it's like set it and forget it. You can go and split test and try to make it better, but it's not something you have to be scheduling all the time. The other side are your campaigns. This is where you're going to be blasting out your sales, right? These are those emails you send 3, 4, 5 times a week. Um, there's not enough consistency there, but there's also not enough variety. That's what we have found. So if all you're doing is every week or so sending out an email of, hey, here's a coupon, you need more variety. You need to be having promotions. Every month you need to have a series of days where there's a promotion. There's urgency around the discount. People need to take action. You've heard this before, right? Scarcity and urgency. Those are two different things. Everyone says that, like they bundle it together. Like you need scarcity and urgency, right? A deadline. No, urgency is a deadline. Scarcity is there's only 10 of these things. When they're gone, they're gone. Now, if you can have both of those, so you have a limited edition box, for example, one of our students in our intensive, she has this limited edition box that comes out every quarter. And we do first access list and everything to get people on it. And it does incredibly well because it creates tons of demand. But this thing, when it's gone, it's gone. There's only so many, and that's scarcity. But also, there's a time where when you can get this limited edition box, there's a limited window. And once that time passes, that's it. So it's scarcity of the product and urgency on when you have to get it. Now, I think she's doing it once a quarter. Like you can do these types of promotions, not necessarily with a limited edition, box or whatever, but you can do promotions. If you look at the best brands, they do this all the time, every month. And you need to be incorporating that. So again, this isn't stuff that you can just sort of make up on the fly. Like today, wake up and be like, oh, I'm going to do a promotion. You have to plan it out a little bit in advance, right? So whether it's Father's Day, Mother's Day, 4th of July, back to school, Halloween, whatever it is, um, you have to plan it out. But these are really, really easy campaigns for you to plan out. And if you're not doing them, you're leaving money on the table. I guarantee you're leaving money on the table. So um, frequency is usually too low, and the nature of the emails and like strategically building these out is always there's always more that can be done, and it's usually way lacking when we've looked at email accounts, even from established brands that are doing very well. There's just so much cash on the table that they can take off the table. So that's why I want you to listen to this and implement it, and just literally something is better than nothing. So start working on this. So in terms of options for platforms, there are so many options. I mean, I won't even go through the whole list, but you know how many different providers there are out there. So I like to, when I think about why we choose what we choose, it's all about specialization. So I'm a golfer. I played golf like in a really competitive at a really competitive level for years. I gave up the game because I just get way too competitive. It's just too much. I get too competitive, and I almost stop enjoying it. So I gave it up for a while, and then I came back. Now I'm playing again, and I'm enjoying it. I'm loving it. But I really wanted to be in the best shape I could for golf, not for jujitsu, not for just general health and wellness. Like I wanted to be in the best shape I could to play the best golf I could play. I wanted to hit the ball as far as I could. I wanted my body to feel as strong as possible. I wanted to have, uh, I wanted just to feel good on the course, right? So all the muscles I use on the golf course, whether it's power, endurance, I wanted to specifically train for that, for mobility. So I wanted to get stronger, but not lose mobility, all those things that I need. Okay. So it wasn't just general fitness, it was specifically for golf. So when I'm evaluating who can help me with this, do you think I'm going to go to the general trainer at the local, like big box gym? Or am I going to try to seek out a trainer that is a physical therapist and also is a strength and conditioning coach and specifically works with golfers? Like all the programming they do, everything they do is just for golfers. Well, I'm absolutely going to go to the specialist. And here's the thing is I'll actually pay more for that specialist, right? It's a whole concept called niche pricing. Um, Totally different topic and subject to talk about, but people will pay more for specialization, and it's because that's what I want. That's exactly what I'm looking for. So in the same way, when you're choosing which email provider to use, you're going to want specialization. Yes, there's a lot of great options out there, but if you're an e-commerce seller, you're trying to scale your e-commerce brand, you look at what the biggest, best brands are using, maybe model that, right? Maybe go to the people that are experts in that. And that's why we choose Klaviyo for all of our email. If something better comes up, trust me, we'll test it and we'll hop on board if something better comes up. But we haven't found anything better. The flows are easy to set up. The campaigns are easy to set up. The templates are great. They have tons of pre-done option, like prepared flows that you can just check a box, import in, and edit. We do a ton of work with Klaviyo with our clients, with our students, and I can't recommend it enough. So if you want to actually check it out, obviously you can go to the site. If you go through, we have a link, ecomunderground.com/Clavio. You can sign up there. If you want, what I'll do is if you DM me at Brian W. Bowman on Instagram, if you DM me, I'll send you some free training that'll get you started with Clavio. We created some training for one of our coaching programs, and yeah, I'll send that over to you. So go ahead, send me a DM, and I'll follow up with you. But Clavio is the best. You can try all the other ones, but you'll probably either end up trying Clavio, and when you do, you'll go, "Dang it, I should have done that one. Why did I wait so long?" So check it out. Really easy to use, really easy to set up, and it'll be worth it. I would even say, if you're on a platform and you make the switch, you might be happy with the switch. But um, that's up to you. I won't again. They're all great. Just saying that's the one that we use. That's the best. So that's about it. The main takeaway for you from this is go and implement. That's it. Strategy that you need to have in place are the stuff that I talked about, which is more frequency and really more structure on the nature of the emails that you're sending. Having a good combination of flows and campaigns. Get this done. It is a priority. And when you start paying attention to this, you're going to find that you're going to start getting more leads, and you're going to start making email a priority. And then your revenue will go up because you're focusing on things that actually move the needle, not on all the shiny objects, not on all the distractions. So go get after it, implement it, and I'll talk to you next time. All right.